So just sit however it's comfortable for you to sit. If sitting elevated is better for your hips, then sit on a prop of some kind. And I just want you to close your eyes. Let's just allow the breath to bring our presence into the body. So as you inhale, I want you to think about the crown of your head growing tall towards the ceiling. Each time you inhale, think about lengthening through the spine. So now you feel your neck growing longer. As you exhale, feel the shoulders slide down the back, giving even more space in the neck. As you inhale, feel the belly firm a little bit, help you grow a little bit taller. Inhale, feel the clavicle start to separate, the chest opens up. As you exhale, feel your sit bones grow heavy. Feel them root into the earth. You're going to feel opposing forces on the inhale and exhale. On your inhale, you're going to feel a lengthening and growing taller, reaching up towards the sky above you. And as you exhale, you're going to feel a settling in your legs and your sit bones. So you're moving, your body's moving in two opposite directions on each side of the breath. As you slow the breath down, expand it, I want you to sense that subtle moment in between the inhale and the exhale. Little glimpse between each side of the breath where nothing is happening. No thoughts reside there. No action resides there. It's this beautiful kernel of space where you are just completely present and nothing is happening at the same time. Mind, your body, and your soul to be fully present in that space between the inhale and the exhale. Lengthen that space. So as you inhale, grow taller, and then pause, hold the breath, just 2 counts. And then exhale, feel heavy in the lower body. It's for 2 breaths, or 2 counts after the exhale. Expand that paused 3 counts. So still growing tall on the inhale. Pausing for 3 counts at the end of the inhale. Exhaling, feeling the shoulders slide down the back. And then pausing for 3 counts at the end of the exhale. So allowing yourself to ruminate in that empty space between the inhale and the exhale. Just any control of the breath. Just let it arrive naturally. When you're ready, gently open the eyes. Back into your space. Let's just take a couple inhales here. So inhale the arms up. Exhale the arms down. Inhale the arms. Exhaling down. One more time, inhale up. And exhale. Now we're going to come into all fours. So if you'd like to have a blanket under your knees, bringing your props out from underneath you, maybe adjusting them to a different area of the mat. Going to come into all fours so that the hands are below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. So the knees are going to be a little bit more narrow than the arms. Now we're just going to do a couple in and out of child's pose. So as you inhale, think about a nice long straight spine. And then as you exhale, sit back on the heels into your child. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, sit back down. To all fours. Exhaling, sending the hips back to the heels, rocking back into child's pose. And then inhaling, coming back up to all fours. And this time we're going to exhale, sit back into child's pose, and we're going to stay. So it might feel nice. We're going to do a little bit of movement in child's pose. So it might feel nice to actually walk the knees a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Really let the rib cage fall in between the thighs if it can. Next inhale, I want you to walk the fingertips over to the right side of the mat and stretch out the left side body. Think about the left hip sitting back on the heel. Don't let it creep up towards the elbow. Open up that left side body. Inhale, walk the fingertips back to center. And then on the exhale, keep walking them over to the left side of the mat, opening up the right side of the body. See if you can even walk those right fingertips out a little bit further to find a little bit more room in the right side of the body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, let yourself fall back down into the middle again. Inhaling, coming back up to all fours. If you walked your knees out wide, go ahead and bring them back underneath the hips. And we're going to do a little bit more movement in the thoracic spine and the shoulders. So we're going to inhale, sweep the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, lower it down. Still in all fours. Inhale, sweep open. Exhale, bring it down, just warming up that upper back. Inhale, engage the shoulder blades and sweep the arm open. Exhale, lower down. We'll add on to this. So inhale, sweep open. And then exhale, we're going to sweep those fingertips under the left arm, bring the left or the right forearm down to the mat, and then bring the left shoulder down to the mat. So you can rest anywhere in your head that's comfortable if your head comes to the mat. If it does, it could be your forehead, your ear, your cheek. If that's not the case, that's fine. Just rest on your shoulder. So we're just feeling that stretch in the right shoulder blade, opening up the right upper back. So it's sink in. On your next inhale, press into the mat, sweep those fingertips back up to the ceiling. And exhale, float that hand down to all fours. So we'll do that on the other side. Inhaling, sweeping the left fingertips up towards the ceiling, and exhale, lower down. It's just warming up that side of the back. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, sweep up.
And this time as we exhale, we're gonna scoop that arm underneath the right arm. Come down onto the left shoulder, stretching and opening up that left shoulder blade. So resting wherever you comfortably can. Want to stick a prop somewhere underneath the left side of your face, if that feels good, if that's something that you feel like would support you in this pose. Let's feel that nice deep opening in the left shoulder blade. When you're ready, on your next inhale, press into the right palm, sweep the left fingertips back up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, lower back down to all fours. Inhaling here, exhaling, sit back into child's pose. Inhale, come back up to all fours, and then exhale, we're gonna push back into a down dog. So tuck the toes under, push back into a down dog, let the hips reach up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, let the knees come back down to the mat, and exhaling, sitting back in that child's pose. Gonna warm up the back a little bit more. So this time when you inhale, I want you to come all the way up on the knees. So inhale, sweep the arms up, all the way up onto the knees. And then as you exhale, you're gonna send the hands back towards the heels and sit back into a child's pose. So if you want to have a prop that if your forehead does not reach the mat comfortably, if you want to set a prop where your forehead could come to meet, we're going to keep moving in and out of this. So as you inhale, sweep the arms up, come up onto the knees, reach up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, send the hands back towards the ankles, come down into a child's pose. So we're really warming everything up. Take 2, 3 breaths here. Inhale and sweep up again, standing up towards the ceiling, tucking the tail under, maybe a little bit of a back bend, and then exhale, come back down into your child's pose. Take a couple more breaths here. Inhale, we're going to sweep up again. And then exhale, reach back down to the heels. And then when you're ready, you can walk the hands back out in front of you into a traditional child's pose. The arms extended out in front of you. Inhale and come back to all fours. Exhale, tuck the toes, push back into a down dog. Pushing those heels down towards the mat, shoulder blades slide down the back, sit bones reach up towards the ceiling, pressing your weight into the thumb and first finger side of the hand. Inhale, and then exhale, walk both feet forward if you need to take a couple steps to get there so that the feet are in between the hands. We're just going to come into a forward fold. So just let the upper body dangle down towards the mat. Let the fingertips touch the mat if they can. If not, you can let the fingertips rest on the shins or the knees. Just let gravity do some work for you. If you have any strain in the low back or in the hamstrings, if it's too much, you can put as much of a bend in the knees as you need. The inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up, bend the knees, come into a gentle chair pose. Nice flat back, exhaling here, and then inhale all the way up to standing, and exhale, close the pose. So let's find our mountain pose and really root in. So starting at the feet, you're gonna ground all four corners of the feet into the mat, engaging the foot muscles and lifting the arches up and away from the mat. You'll feel an engagement in the quadriceps. You don't want to lock out the knees. You want to have a nice little bend in the knee, but your quadriceps are engaged. Tuck the tail under, firm the lower belly. Feel the navel pull back towards the spine. Let the shoulders roll down and back. Reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Feel nice and long. And if you want to close your eyes for just a moment, that same sensation we talked about in the beginning of class. On the inhale, you're growing long. Crown is reaching up towards the ceiling. You feel taller and taller and taller. And on the exhale, you feel a rooting and a grounding in the lower body. You feel all four corners of the feet rooting into the earth as though your body's being pulled in two different directions. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge the hips, fold forward. Take a breath here. Exhale, step both feet back into down dog. Inhale, lower the knees, come to all fours. Walk the hands slightly in front of the shoulders. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend the elbows and come down to the mat so that your chest is down to the mat. So we're laying flat on the mat. So the fingertips are probably too far ahead. So shimmy the hands down the ribs so that your fingertips are at nipple line. Inhale, peel your chest up off the mat, grow through the crown of the head. Bring the shoulder blades together and then exhale, lower down. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhale, peel the chest up away from the mat. Nice broad open chest. Shoulder blades are pinching together and exhale, lower down. Once again, inhale, peel up. Exhale, lower down. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, press all the way up, tucking the toes under, all the way up through all fours. Tuck the toes under and press back to a down dog. Inhaling and then exhaling, stepping both feet forward in between the hands. Take a breath here, should really feel the backs of the legs opening up. Inhale, bend the knees, hinge the hips, come into a chair. Stay here on the exhale, and then inhale, back to standing, and exhale, close. So we're going to do a couple standing poses, and since I don't have anyone on there, I'm just going to come over here so that you guys can see me. Let's go over here. So I'm going to come this way. So go ahead and turn on your mat. Straddle on your mat. So your right toes are going to point towards the front. Is that right? Those are your right toes? Am I right? Yes, yes. Okay, good. I want to make sure I do. Then you're going to kick that left heel back at a 45-degree angle. And if you're using a block, have it on the inside of that right foot. You can have it, I mean, there's so many levels on these blocks. You can have it at this level, you can have it at that level, you can have it at the tallest level, whatever is going to make this pose accessible to you, use that. So we're going to inhale the arms up. And then as you exhale, you're going to reach off the waist and come down to the block. So reaching the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Inhale, pull yourself all the way back out of it. And then exhale, reach off the waist with the right fingertips and bring it down to it. Inhale, come all the way back out. Last one, exhale, reach off the waist, cut down, and we're going to stay here. So you want to have a nice long torso. Try not to collapse on that front thigh. Staying nice and light on the fingertips, and you should really feel that in the inner right thigh. Feel a nice stretch in the inner right thigh. You can look down at the block if there's any tension on your neck, or you can gaze up at your fingertips, reaching for the ceiling. Inhale, come all the way back out of it. And exhale, close the pose, and we'll do that on the other side. So moving your block, we're going to bring the right toes in at a 45-degree angle, and then kick those left toes out the front towards the back wall.
So same thing on this side, we're gonna inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, reach off the waist and then come down to that block, left fingertips up towards the ceiling. No, closing your right fingertips, good. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, reach off that waist, come down. Right fingertips up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, pull yourself all the way back out. Last one and we'll stay. Exhale, reach off the waist, come down. Right fingertips up towards the ceiling, find your placement on your block. And we're gonna feel that in that left inner thigh. So nice long torso, try not to collapse in on the front thigh. Keep reaching up towards the ceiling. All right, I'm not gonna help you with just a minor adjustment. See if this helps you a little bit. Are you able to point these toes towards here? Yes, perfect, 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 perfect. As you inhale, pull yourself all the way back down. And then we're gonna point both toes forward, so walk both of your toes towards me. And if you wanna bring your block in between the feet, we're just gonna do a nice straddle fold. So inhaling the arms up, overhead. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, send the sit bones back behind you, come down with a flat back and then fold over towards your block. So you can use a block, you can just press your hands on the mat, however you want to do. And same thing when we were doing our forward folds earlier. Our legs are spread out, but we're still just thinking about folding at the hips, letting the upper body grow heavy, and just sinking in between the legs. You should really feel this in your hamstrings. You might even start to feel this on the outer thigh. You may even feel it in the glutes. Also in the low back, we want a good stretching sensation in the low back. If there's tension or pinching or anything like that, make sure you give a generous bend in the knees so that you feel more of a stretch in the low back. So just hanging out here for a little bit, really feeling the stretch in the back of the legs. Feeling a nice stretch, possibly in the low back. Each exhale, feel yourself getting a little bit deeper, not wrenching yourself, not forcing yourself, just letting yourself fall into the pose. Finding yourself becoming present with your breath once again. You put a nice generous bend in your knees first. And then as you inhale, you can sweep your arms out in front of you, or you can clasp your hands at your low back, whatever feels better. And then as you inhale with a flat back, all the way up to sleep. Inhale. Exhale, close the pose. And then you can point both towards both toes towards the front of the mat and come and step up to the front of your mat. The lower or the legs and the lower body should feel nice and loose at this point. All right, so coming back into that mountain pose, we won't take a super long time to get here, but I do want you to become cognizant of the rooting of your feet. Arches pull up and away from the mat, shoulders roll down the back, crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Take another breath here. Inhaling and then exhaling, stepping back into your down dog. Take a couple breaths here.
Inhaling, let the knees come down to the mat, all fours, and exhale, sit back in your child's pose one more time. Come into a seated posture. So to get there, you can come back to all fours first if you'd like. You can cross the ankles behind you and sit back. You can swing the legs out to the side, whatever is the most comfortable way for you to get back on your sit bones. And if you want to elevate your hips, if you have hamstring tightness or lower back tension at all, it sometimes feels good to have something underneath your sit bones to bring you up a little bit. It'll give you a little bit more accessibility to these poses that we're about to go to. So we're gonna do Janu Sirsasana. So this is the one leg out in front, forward fold, seated forward fold. So you're gonna start with your right leg out in front. You're gonna tuck the left leg in. So you're gonna have the bottom of the left foot on the inside of the right thigh. If this is not accessible all the way to the right thigh, even having your foot to the inside of the calf is perfectly fine. All right, so we're gonna move in and out of this, do a few dynamic poses before we hang out in the posture. So just inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Inhale, come back out of it, reach up, engaging the back to pull yourself out of it. And exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, peel back out of it, just like that cobra. Think about engaging shoulder blades. And then exhale, fold forward, and we're going to stay. So you can find any kind of gripping point. It could be your foot, under the ankle, under the calf, under the knee, whatever works for you, whatever is accessible to you. So we're not looking for a stretch in the back. We're looking for a stretch in the hamstring, in the legs. Into that stretch. Taking this opportunity to find that rhythm again with your breath that we found in the beginning of the practice. If you'd like to, you can even come back to that practice of holding the breath for a couple counts in between the inhale and the exhale. Think about your toes reaching up towards the ceiling, so a little bit of engagement in the foot. This deep opening in the hamstring, maybe even feeling a stretch in the calf muscle. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the back body. Be here for just another minute. Adjust your posture if you feel like you've lost the pose. You can always back out of it just a little bit. Readjust, find length in the spine once again, and then you can exhale and fold forward if you reacquaint yourself with the posture. Gently than we went in. So if you want to place the palms of your hand on on the floor on either side of your leg, and then as you inhale, you're just going to walk the palms in towards the hips, bring yourself back up to a seated posture.
So we'll do that on the other side. Go ahead and extend that left leg out in front of you. We're gonna tuck that right foot in. We're gonna come in and out of this a couple times to give the hamstring on the other side, wake it up a little bit for this side. So we're gonna inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, fold forward. As you're inhaling, come back up, engage the back muscles, pull yourself out of it, and then exhale, fold forward over that. And again, inhaling, peeling yourself back up, engaging the shoulder blades, and then exhale, fold forward, going to stay. So now you'll find your grip point, whether that's your foot, your calf, your knee. Just folding over. Feeling the stretch in the hamstring on the other side. You may begin to feel an opening in the low back at this point. Settling back into that breath. So feeling the sensation of the inhale and the exhale. You finding that pause or a couple pauses in between the switching of the breath. Yourself sink even deeper into that empty space in between the inhale and the exhale. And we're going to come out of it more gently than we went into it. So placing the hands on the mat on either side of your legs, walk your palms back towards the hips. Come up to standing, or not to standing, come up to sitting. Reach both of your feet out in front of you. We're going to inhale the arms up and then just exhale them down. So I want you to just really engage your back in this movement. So inhaling, even arching up. And then exhale down. Yeah, one last time. Inhale up, arch the back. And exhale down. That low back. So I wanna see if we can re-engage that low back. So we're gonna come down onto the mat onto our backs. So if you've got something underneath your sit bones, go ahead and move it. I'm trying to stop these fans.
Yeah, would be good.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know why I can't. Oh, I just must not have been at the right angle. Okay. All right, so we're gonna come down, lying down onto the mat. So I want us to come down gently, because again, we've done a lot to the low back here. So bringing your feet flat to the mat, knees bent, inhaling, arch up, broad chest, reach to the crown of head, and then exhale, we're gonna gently roll down onto the mat. And we're gonna do a little bit of bridge work to help re-engage that low back. So walk those heels in as close as is comfortable to your glutes as possible. You're gonna press your palms on either side of your hips, palms face down into the mat to have that nice stable base. Back of the head will be pressed into the mat. And then as you inhale, you're gonna engage the glutes and push the hips up towards the ceiling. Flattening out that low back. And then exhale, just let it come back down to the mat. Inhale, do that again. Press into the mat with the heels. Push the hips up towards the ceiling, tucking that tail. And then exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, press into the heels, press into the palms, push the hips up towards the ceiling. Stay here on the exhale, tucking the tail under. Inhale, lift up just a little bit higher. Try and keep the knees
over the direction of the big toes. And then exhale, you can lower down. Once you get all the way down to the mat, if you want to hug the knees into the chest, relax that low back, round it out slightly. And then we're gonna actually come into a pigeon. Now, before we come into it, I do want to say, since you're on your backs, if pigeon is not accessible to you, the other option is to do what's called a figure 4 stretch. So in a figure 4 stretch, you're going to, I'm gonna come this way so that everyone can see me. I'm saying everyone like there's a ton of people. So in a figure 4 stretch, this is what we do to protect the low back. When we're trying to get the same stretch as a pigeon, but it's not accessible to us. So if that's the case, when we go in and out of pigeon, if you're doing a figure 4 stretch, you're just going to cross that right ankle over the left knee and then bring the left knee in. So I'll guide you through that if that's the option that you want to do. But if you decide you want to do the actual pigeon pose, then where you're at now, laying on the floor, you can just roll yourself over to your right and come up to all fours, so that we can come back around to our all fours pose. So from all fours, we're gonna first find a down dog to be able to get into pigeon. If that's where you're headed, make sure you have a blanket or a block nearby. That might be useful to you when we get into pigeon pose, since we'll be hanging out there. All right, so inhaling here and then exhaling, tucking the toes, pushing back into a down dog. That should also feel good on the low back. This is another posture that can help counter too much forward folding on the low back. All right, so from here, we're going to inhale the right knee up towards the right elbow and then kick that right ankle out towards the left wrist. Once you find that, you can come down onto the shin, walk that back foot back behind you to come into your pigeon pose. If you have a gap between your right glute and the mat, go ahead and tuck something underneath there. So we'll be here for a little bit, and I don't want you kind of hanging, I don't want your glute hanging out loosely so that you start to tip over to one side. So go ahead and tuck something underneath there so you feel nice and secure. You want to fold all the way forward to sink into the pose. You can walk down onto the forearms. Just really feeling that stretch in that outer glute and that piriformis on the right side. Letting that whole outer right hip open up. Time you want to back out of the pose a little bit to find an adjustment so that you can feel that you can come back into it in better form. The longer we're in a pose, the body starts to settle. And that can sometimes jog us a little bit out of the correct form. Out of it. We're going to go into the back bend version of this for just a little bit as we come out of it. So go ahead and walk your hands back in towards the legs so that you can come back into the upright pigeon. Reach to the crown of the head, nice broad chest. I want you to feel that compression in the low back, kind of resetting
from all the forward folding we did earlier. Heavy through the hips, heavy through the sit bones. Yeah. You can move any props out of the way, press into the hands, tuck the back toes under and push back to your down dog. All right, resetting, maybe walking your dog out, pedaling those heels. You need to even that out on the other side. So this time as we inhale, we're gonna bend that left knee up towards the left elbow, swing the left ankle out towards the right wrist, come down on that shin, walk that back foot back into our pigeon. Bringing any props that we'd like to support the left hip. Somehow my pigeon, I keep walking further and further back on my mat. I'm not even barely on the mat anymore. I'm gonna scoot up. All right. So settle into your pigeon. And when you're ready, if you want to walk forward, you can bring the forearms down. Again, think about being heavy in both the right front hip and the left sit bone. So we're even heaviness across that whole hip structure, the whole pelvic structure. Feeling the opening on the outer side of the left glute, the left hip. Maybe even feeling an opening in that right hip flexor. Releasing the back body. Finding the rhythm in the breath again. Sinking into that empty space between the inhale and the exhale. And gently come back out of this and reset the low back again. So on your inhale, you can start to walk back up to an upright pigeon. Reach through the crown of the head again, nice broad chest. Feel that compression in the low back. Maybe even feeling a little bit of stretching in the belly. Back into down dog one more time. So if you've got any props in the way, go ahead and scooch them out. Pressing the palms into the mat, tucking the toes under and back, and send that front foot back to meet your right foot in down dog. Pressing into the palms, the inner edge of the palms, the left and front and first finger side of the hand. Reaching the heels back to the mat, maybe even walking, pedaling the heels. Inhaling, let the knees come down to the mat, and exhale, sit back in your child's pose. Just round out that back. Release the shoulders. It's releasing completely into the child's pose. Go.
And I'll come back into all fours. And we're gonna come back around again to release the low back. So as I had said before, you can either swing your legs out to the side, cross your ankles, however it is most comfortable for you to get back onto your sit bones. Take that option now. And once you find yourself on your sit bones, you want to have your feet flat on the mat, knees bent. And we're going to do just a little bit, almost like a seated cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, broaden the chest, reach through the crown of the head, and then we're going to exhale, round the back out. We're not going to go down. We're just going to round the back out. Should feel nice to stretch the back. Inhale, bring the chest back up. Nice open chest, shoulder blades pinch together, crown reaches up, and then exhale, nice deep rounding of the back as we fall away from the legs. Inhale again, bring the chest up, reach through the crown of the head, and then exhale, round the back out. Last time, inhale, pull yourself upright. And this time we're going to exhale and slowly lower down. So you can grab the hamstrings with the hands and just slowly walk yourself down to the mat. Inhaling and then exhaling, hugging the knees into the chest. And you can rock the knees from side to side if you like, if that feels good on the low back. Relaxing everything out. Let's just do a little bit of opposing, unilateral movement here for the low back. So inhale and then exhale, hug the right knee into the chest, but let the left leg stretch out in front of you. Inhale, bring that left knee back up. Exhale, hug the left knee in and let the right leg stretch out in front of you. We'll switch it out a couple more times. Inhale, bring both knees up. Exhale, hug the left knee, hug the right knee. Yeah? Okay, let the left leg stretch out. Inhale, bring both knees up. Exhale, hug the left knee, let the right leg stretch back out. Inhaling the knee in, and then exhale, hug both knees into the chest one last time. And then you can grab any props that you'd like to make your way into Shavasana. So taking your time to arrive there, there's no rush. Feel like something underneath the head for support, something maybe underneath the knees, especially if you feel like there was any tension built up in the low back from these postures, these movements. Body release to the mat. Feet splay open. Let the palms face the ceiling. The shoulders roll down towards the mat. Take a moment again to bring your attention to your breath. The sensation of the inhale and the exhale. To relax your face. Feel the forehead release. The eyebrows soften.
The eyes relax. Cheeks. The mouth. Jaw gently open and the tongue spread wide. It's the neck and the throat. The shoulders, the chest. It's the back, the belly. Relax the hips, the glutes. It's the quads, the calves. The arms, the hands. And then the ankles and the feet. Just feel the backside of the body release to the earth. Feel everything in the body growing heavy. Your limbs grow heavy. Feel as though the back of your body is making an indentation in the floor below you. to your breath. The sensation of the inhale and the exhale. Twiddle your fingers and your toes. And letting your head rock from side to side. Reaching your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. Neck. Yourself to your right side. Using your hands to guide you, push yourself up into a comfortable seated posture. Taking a deep breath in, reach your arms out and side up overhead. Let your hands come together above you and exhale the hands to the heart center. Thank yourself for slowing down, going a little bit deeper, both physically and spiritually. Thank you for letting me guide you in your practice this evening. Namaste.
Namaste.